Welcome to the Awaken on Purpose podcast, where each week you'll hear inspirational stories of heart-centered leaders who have awakened to their higher purpose and taken that leap of faith to follow their heart and make an impact in the world. Get ready to be enlightened, empowered, and transformed with your host, Jennifer Spohr.
I'm excited and really thrilled to welcome as a guest to the show today, Lolita Guarin. She is a stress management expert, certified coach, author of the book Crush Stress While You Work, multiple online course creator and speaker. After overcoming health issues due to a stressful work environment, she found simple ways in how to manage stress naturally without medicating herself. She believes that others need to take care of themselves in order to take care of others. Lolita resides in Houston, Texas, where she continues to teach, write, and speak to busy professionals on how to overcome stress and burnout. Welcome, Lolita.
Well, thank you for inviting me to your show.
Yeah, thanks for being a guest. Lolita, I know that in the introduction it alluded a bit to why you're doing the work that you're doing today, but a lot of people cope with managing stress, right? So what inspired you to actually then take that experience from your journey and make it your life's work to support others in that way?
Well, of course, if I didn't wake up one day and I said, you know what, we don't have enough stress management coach and I'm going to be one. That didn't happen that way. I was working in a busy environment in the corporate, in the oil and gas company. But again, it doesn't have to be corporate environment to be stressed out. You can be in a working very small company, or you can be a solopreneur and you can be very stressed out. So I really wanted to prove it to myself and others that I can make my American dream. As you can tell by my accent, I'm not Texan. I am from Lithuania, and I came to this country 20 years ago. And I thought, well, that's a great chance for me. And I want to, prove it to everyone and myself that I can do it. And I started working 60 hours weeks and no lunches and no weekends. And that, my story is nothing new. There are plenty of people who do the same thing, all stressed out. And that really impacted my health. And when I ended up in the emergency room, I figured, I have to do something. And I didn't want to just to eat the pills for the rest of my life. And I studied there were plenty of natural ways how to manage stress. So then I applied the stress techniques for my busy life, and then I became a coach. And I want to just spread the news that stress management doesn't have to be really stressful. It's very easy to apply natural ways and apply to your day, and so you don't end up collapsing at the end of it.
There are so many key points that you bring up in what you just shared, and one is that with so many people, it often takes some type of tragedy or us pushing ourselves to the limits in order for us to make a change in how we're living. I know that was the case for me too, and that's one of the reasons why I do what I do today as well, is to try to support other people on their journey so that they can make changes before they get to that point. So the work that you're doing, it's just so needed. And then the other point that you made about how managing stress doesn't have to be stressful, right? It's so true. When we've been behaving or thinking or living or believing a certain way for so long, we automatically look at change as a difficulty and we fear it and we get overwhelmed, but it doesn't have to be that way. It can happen with ease, grace, and flow.
Yes, and when I started teaching clients, usually, I say, hey, and you should take 15 minutes break, or an hour and 5 minutes break. And I hear it all the time. It's like, no, you don't understand. I don't have time for this. And for some reason, many of us think that stress is such a big deal that the remedy for such a big deal also needs to be such a big deal. And it takes because it can be a small little things that you can do during the day, and it could make a huge difference. And as soon as we understand it doesn't have to be that bad, and we can do it, and it's okay to do it, and don't feel ashamed or that we feel, oh, we're just being selfish, But no, if you're not gonna take care of yourself, who's gonna take care of those that you love when you're sick in the hospital?
Absolutely. You know, as that saying goes, whoever originally said it, I don't know, but you have to fill your own cup first, right?
Exactly. The same like when you're about to take off in the plane, and what they tell you, they say, put your oxygen mask on you first, and then you help others.
Exactly, yes. And stress also comes from suppressing emotions, I believe. When often we think we kind of have to muscle through things, right? So when we're feeling out of alignment, we often don't allow ourselves the space to process what we're going through. We just kind of shove it down and then feel like we have to, keep moving forward. And so stress can absolutely manifest as a result of that. So allowing yourself that space to process things is so important in terms of avoiding stress.
Yes, and I think we just kind of grow since childhood times, that we get into patterns that our parents and our teachers and friends and neighbors teaching us, and we get those patterns and we think that's the only one way to do it. And I think if as soon as we realize that we all different and we react to things differently and we have different emotion, and it's okay, that we need to squeeze ourselves into some pattern just to get approval from others, which actually getting approval is, it's a survival instinct, because we are always feel like we need to belong to a group and we want to do the way we do something that'll be accepted. But I think the majority of stress and anxiety really comes from our thoughts and the opinion of ourselves and others. So as soon as we get deep down and we help ourselves and stop talking negatively to ourselves and help ourselves on the mental level, I think from there you really can battle stress and actually manage it, because there's no way we're going to get rid of stress altogether. That's just not happening.
Right.
Also, even plants have stress. There's no sun, no water. I mean, they're stressing. So we just have to find ways how we can manage it, and it's totally doable.
Right. I agree. Absolutely. Our beliefs are the root cause of that. Absolutely. Lolita, every experience in our lives shapes who we are. What experience in your life do you feel has been most significant in shaping who you've become today?
I think what really made a difference for me when I left Lithuania and I came here to US. And I realized that there were lots of things in my life that I was not appreciating. For example, getting a good salami sandwich, And then I came here to US, and well, guess what? There was no salami for me to buy that I really loved. Or appreciating people that I had around me, my neighbors, my friends, my family. And I think the relationships were the most important to me, of really understanding that that's what the goal is, because you take that love and appreciation with you anywhere you go. And one big thing that helped me to understand how important relationships are, because I'm only one child and I left US and my parents were still in Lithuania. And I really truly realized how much I miss people, how much I miss my parents. And I remember thinking to myself, I am very happy that I am 20 something right now, and I understand how those relationships matter to me, instead of, like they're showing in the movies, my parents are dying and I am, by their bed and thinking, oh, I shoulda, coulda, woulda spend more time with them. And now my parents are here in this country, and I spend every moment I can get. I live like 5 miles away from them, which is very close when you think it's about Houston. And relationships for me is the number one thing, because the actions that we take, we always put so much of weight on something that really doesn't really matter. So if something's stressing you out, you worry about something, always ask yourself, will this matter in a year or two? If it doesn't matter, then don't pay attention, don't worry yourself, don't spend energy on that. but always invest in the people in other relationships, because at the end of the day, that's all that matters.
That's so spot on. And something else I always ask too is, whenever I'm feeling out of alignment or stressed, does this thing, whatever thing it is it bringing me closer to who I want to be or taking me further away? Just to kind of anchor myself back into the present moment.
Yeah, and also I would recommend asking, where is this coming from?
Yeah.
Because there are so many insecurities that we have that come from, let's say, from our parents or our grandparents, those people who influence us when we were children. And then you kind of take their reality, their truth as our own. And so when we get stressed out or something happens, and I ask myself, where's it really coming from? If I'm going to make this decision or the other one, what am I really worried about here? Am I worried that somebody's not going to approve of me? Or am I scared because somebody said I should be scared of that? So as soon as we get deep down and we say, okay, this is coming from somewhere, and we realize that truth is by somebody else's. For example, if my grandmother was afraid to cross the street, and she told me that, it's very dangerous to cross the street, I will be afraid to cross the street. But times change, right? So just because my grandmother was afraid to cross the street, just an example, it doesn't mean that I shouldn't cross the street. So as soon as we find out where that came from, and we acknowledge that all of us have different paths and different fears and different patterns, and it's okay, we're all different, then we acknowledge and we can make a decision to take our own paths.
Absolutely. Questioning our deeper motives around our decisions is so important. And, just by default, most of us are conditioned or programmed to make our decisions based upon our past experiences. But in order to evolve, in order to expand, we also have to be willing to think differently, right? To step outside of our comfort zone. And that's where I feel it is so important to have a deep connection with your intuition and to be able to know where you're being guided.
Yes, and I think we should all understand being different, and doesn't mean it's wrong. It's just different, and being different is good, because we cannot just eat always the same food and say this is really good. How will we know how the light looks like if we never experience darkness? But it doesn't mean that darkness is a bad thing. It's just different than the light. So we always need to have the contrast of something so we can measure things up and see which direction we're going. So it's always good.
Absolutely. We wouldn't have the opportunity to learn otherwise. We wouldn't be able to value what we do want as much if we never experienced that contrast.
Yep.
So there are, a lot of people out there right now, especially with the pandemic and this different challenging time that we've been experiencing. There are people out there who are at a crossroads in their life, right? Feeling called to do something more, to make a bigger impact, but they likely have fears around that change. Some of what we talked about earlier. What advice would you have for those people to be able to take action and move forward today?
So first, I would say that we need to listen to ourselves and do what we want. And I hear all the time when I coach my clients, I hear, oh, I would like to go to the yoga, but my husband's not going to let me because I need to take care of the kids. Ultimately, you're the one who's making decision. So you need to say yes or no to things that are really dear to you. Because we cannot just let the time pass by and then the next thing it's time to die, as I say, and then we shouldn't be in the position at the end of our lives thinking, oh, you know what, I should have taken that chance. I should have made that step, and I should have went back to school and made that project or wrote the book or something, because then there will be no way back. And another thing, what I liked, once I was watching a Dr. Amen on the PBS, and I really liked how he said, when we are 20s, we are worried what other people think of us. When we're 40s, we don't care what other people think of us. And when we're 60, we realize nobody was thinking of us.
I I love that. It's so true. It is so true.
You just need to live your life and stop. Ultimately, it will be your decision, not theirs.
Absolutely. Lolita, what's the best place for someone to find you if they want to connect with you or learn more about what you're up to?
So they're welcome to go to my website. It's called beamazingyou.com. And there are links to purchase my book, Crush Stress While You Work, that is on Amazon. Then there you can have a link to schedule a session one-on-one of co-coaching with me. Also, I have online programs that are available. Also, there's a link there. And if you want to invite me to speak to your company and help your employees to manage stress in the work environment, I'm also a speaker. You also can register there online. And you can find me on LinkedIn. Just type in Lolita Guarin and I'll be there.
Awesome. Thank you so much for coming on as a guest today. I mean, the work that you're doing is so needed. I would say, who couldn't use your help?
I'm here for those who need me.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Jennifer, for having me.
Thank you for listening to the Awake and on Purpose podcast. Please visit us and subscribe to the podcast at awakeandonpurpose.com so you never miss an episode. To learn more about how you can connect with your higher purpose and take that leap of faith to make your impact in the world, visit us at jenniferspor.com. And while you're there, be sure to join our email list for exclusive offers and a weekly dose of inspiration.